All right, let's get her going. I got a cat here in my. Yeah. Alrighty, hello. How's it going? Hello, Waffle. Did I ruin that minion for you? A little bit. There's definitely a little bit of disappointment now that I see what you see. But it's still a good minion. Hello, I'm back. I have internet again. I mean, I had internet before, but it was extremely slow. And now I can use it, which is great. But yeah, so we are starting up a new chapter in Greatest Attorney. We'll be doing as much as that as I can handle, and then we'll do some Satisfactory, which I have not done much off screen. I didn't want to make the space elevator off stream because I think it's cool to do it on stream. So yeah. Yeah, it like once you pointed it out, it is really like, wow, that it really just is Among Us. That's the Among Us crewman, 100%. It's the red with the blue bubble visor and the little feetsies on him. Yeah, no, it's bad. I don't like that. Okay, so we're back doing this. Also, it just occurred to me that now that you talked about F14, I think I forgot to do my Ion Sanctuary stuff again. I don't remember if I logged in. Did I? I feel like I forgot to do it. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I saw you AFK in Limson. I was tempted to dance in you until I logged out or got back from AFK. I was, what was I doing? I think I went and took a shower. I was in the middle of grinding and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go take a shower and then finish this off, so I just stayed in Limsa for a while. Did you see my my Wind Waker cosplay? Got sleepy, so I left. Yeah, I was gone for like an hour and a half overall. My yeah, I saw somebody in one of the roulettes. Hey Doppel, how's it going? You're finally on time for once. Hey, no worries. I saw someone in one of the roulettes who had a Link cosplay, and I was like, shit, that's really good. And I did one that was really similar to his. Then I was like, I feel like I can do better being a Lala. And I went looking through the different torso options, and I was like, oh shit, this looks like when you dye it, it looks like the top that Wind Waker Link has. And so I did a Wind Waker Link one, and it turned out really nice. And so that's the thing I use for when like I want to try and farm commendations to get closer to like the 1500 I need for Mentor. I'll just pop that on because people like it. I get a lot of commendations for it. I did like a line spray and I got like 4. Art outfit is just glammed into the Diablo set. Oh, nice. Yeah, that Diablo set is pretty good. It sucks that it's not dyeable. They bring that set back for one of the Endwalker dungeons and it's still not dyeable. And people were not pleased when they found that out. So hopefully that gets changed at some point. But anyways, enough about FF14 for now, until I talk about it 30 seconds from now. We got a new chapter to start in Greatest Attorney, which was very very fun. Called Twisted Karma and His Last Bow. Now Karma is interesting because I only know Manfred von Karma from the first game. So I don't know if this is a reference to him. I kind of hope it is, because that'd be fun. I'm fishing FF14, not real life this time. No worries. I've thought about fishing, but I haven't done it yet. There's too many other things I want to do. So yeah, let's jump right in. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. What is this gonna look like?
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside.
And my capture is working properly, which is good.
I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog.
Oh, don't tell me it's another fucking Foggy Night mystery. We already did that in the first game.
Indeed,
that's a lot of redheads.
A
wow.
incident born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder.
Oh.
An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night.
Is this continuing the Professor story?
And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room.
I didn't think they'd do that until the last case.
There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
I wonder who the narrator for this is. Not that he sounds familiar, but sounds good. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosimo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. I know Waterloo. Both the hotel and the site of the battle. Don't tell me we're gonna find the fucking ancestor of the bellhop from the second case of Ace Attorney 1. Don't tell me that. And alternating between fishing, Hildebrand, and tombstones. Yeah, I do like I think it's good to, you know, vary it up so you don't get burnt out. I will say this tombstone event, you weren't around for the other ones. But this tombstone event, they did a way better job about getting a variety of activities you can do, of like different duties that all give a good amount of tombstones. Because in the last I think 3 tombstone events, always the best go-to, if unless you want to do blue mage shit, is Praetorium. And it's maddening after like 3 runs and you have to do 12 of them. So it's like this one, pretty much all of the third raids of all the Alliance raids, except I think the first one, all give 14 tomes, same as Praetorium, which is great. So I just have like Praetorium, Dunscaith, Orbone Monastery, Tower at Paradigm's Breach, and Euphrosyne, which is technically the second one because the third one's not out yet in the most recent Alliance raid. I just have those 5 in my duty roulette, and then whatever one I get, I just take out. And then once everything is done, I just restart. And it's so much nicer. All I'm doing it for is Dunscaith and Goth GF. Oh, yes. Skithak, or whatever her name is. Yeah, Praetorium, like, it's fine to do, like, for a daily. Like, the MSQ roulette, it's fine. But, like, doing it multiple times a day is rough. And this is the new version of Praetorium that is half the length of the old one. Good lord. Every time I got Praetorium in the old MSQ roulette, I was like, oh, well, fucking boot something up on the side and relax. Anyways, 1st of November, 10:24 a.m., Great Waterloo Hotel foyer. Professor Mikotoba is due to arrive at any moment. Oh, he's coming here. Dope.
Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time.
Masato-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. Jinx fun, but I have no use for the fish. Yeah, you can sell them on the market board if you start paying for a sub at some point.
The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew?
He was actually the mass murderer, the professor, you mean? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they?
Yes, that's true.
Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikotoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well?
That's right, but for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it.
Probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia, and then he's regained his memory now. Is this Sholmes? Ah, there she is! Who the fuck are you? Oh, it's the judge. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even recognize him. Holy shit. Daddy? Sorry. Daddy? Sorry. Wow.
Oh, Father!
Hello, Susato. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you have arrived safe and sound.
Yeah, holy shit. I didn't realize how fucking built he was under those robes. That dude could fold me into a pretzel, no problem. Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take trouble to meet us here. Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure. Oh, God, what voice did I use for you again? I've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamships from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Seishiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty. You're... Takes guilty verdicts into his own hands. Yeah, they don't need an executioner. They got this guy. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. How do you get your beard to do that? That's impressive. Your Excellency.
Hello, Judge Shikoku, how are you? It's been a long time.
Good, you've remembered now. That really did the trick. Lots of hair ties, yeah. Guilty! Remember that shit that I'm almost certainly traumatized you for the rest of your life? Oh, that was great. Fuck you. Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Remember when I almost ruined your life? Oh, that was good. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be invited to an international symposium like this. Though really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Seishiro? What are you talking about, Eugene? Of course, Judge Jigoku must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. Oh, I didn't even consider it would be him. But that does make sense. I thought there would be a mystery third person, but this tracks. He's the third visiting scholar. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? His name translates to Judge Hell. Yeah, it's pretty good. I knew you were jealous. Sorry, ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. He works two jobs, because the fuck of the economy, right? It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this study tour. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes, now, Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. He also works as the comedy club host. And he digs ditches just for fun. About what happened 10 years ago, that tragedy. Yes, could you tell us any more about it? I guess so, if you ask a follow-up question. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. Oh, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time, we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
Ah, so you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris.
We did, yes, though only for one night. And yesterday evening, we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover. Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow.
It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Cicero here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default. Speak for yourself, Eugene. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back. Cosimo's father, I suppose. Yeah, let's talk more about how your friend was a mass murderer. The professor, the killer who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Cosimo's father, wasn't he? What if this comes down to Cosimo's father actually wasn't the killer? What if it was actually like Strongheart, and Strongheart was trying to fucking kill a bunch of people in his way for his ambitions? What if this is like a spoilers, but what if this is like a Powers situation from the DLC case of Ace 21? It was actually you, Ryunosuke! You were the professor! I was? Oh shit, you're right. Barrett Van Zieks is right. I'm the professor. Actually Cosimo's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Asogi. Oh shit. Yo, Genshin Impact reference? Hell yeah. Genshin.
You knew, I presume, Father.
I'm why he's racist. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. What if it was a closed trial because it was a sham? And they framed him. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. What about Cosimo? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect he may have had his doubts. Sounds like a shitty light novel title, The Time I Was the Serial Killer That Made My Boyfriend Racist. I hate that you're right. It does sound like a shitty light novel. And I'd probably read it just out of morbid curiosity. Oh, why? As you know, I tried to guide Cosimo growing up, as if he were my own son. And one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I've decided. I want to travel to Great Britain and study there.
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I did know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Doing a lot of cutting to Susato looking sad but saying nothing. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. He wanted to continue his father's murder spree. Is that going to be the final trial? We're fighting against Cosimo? Bittersweet ending. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Cosimo's since turned up here in London, working as the apprentice of Lord Van Zieks. What? What? That's news to us! So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. He's fucking alive? Are you shitting me? As you know, we both thought Cosimo had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What? Why the fuck would you think I knew that? What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. But he's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? Lost his memory. He's fucking alive, and he's not fucking you? Look, I found a new boyfriend. His name is Beric Van Zeeks. It's just a little complicated because it's like, I thought you were dead. I hooked up another guy. Now you're alive. Now there's like a weird love triangle happening. Maybe between you and him, I don't know. Maybe it's a throuple situation. I also have a second boyfriend, so it's like a quadruple. It's gotten very complicated in my polycule, alright? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems that he was suffering from amnesia.
What? Amnesia? What is that? When we first came across him again here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. I can't believe... It's still shocking to me that I identified him based on his fucking chin. I can't believe I actually guessed it off his chin. He only regained his memory 8 days ago. It's actually a major plot point in the light novel I was talking about. I'm not surprised. Light novels are basically written soap operas, and that is like a classic soap opera trope, is people having amnesia. Amnesia and unidentified coughing diseases that are always fatal. There's nothing more soap opera than those two things. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak with him urgently. I wonder how Cosmo's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go and visit him? I don't know, we're friends, I guess, so... Probably not? That began 16 years ago now. That's a distant memory, really. It was Eugen here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Our father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time. You know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
Have you seen the clips of the Indian soap opera where a wife washes her husband's laptop? Oh, I think I have, yeah. I've only ever seen it out of context, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that gif. He went to do research at a great London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Ugh, no more talk of graves. Very often there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work. So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. Remember that Scottish prisoner governor? Caden was his name. He was a good man. Yes, but then of course in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested for a series of the most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I'd known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after the trial, we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. I really want to know if they thought that he actually did it, or if they didn't. Because Jigoku said that he tried to speak in his defense, but I really want to know, like, what he said. Ooh, craving some microwave popcorn. Yeah, I eat popcorn all the time. Shit's great. Genshin's arrested. Where I'm gonna get my fuck ton of venti hentai now. I don't know, man. Guess you're gonna have to find another femboy. There's always fate. Should we say anything, or are we gonna cut away? Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, if you'll excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Sato-san's gone off at a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck.
Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been.
Oh, no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry? What do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato was born.
Yes, I heard.
The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too.
Oh, yes. Susato-san hinted at something like that. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Did his wife die in childbirth or something?
Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. Perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say.
I completely understand, Professor.
One other thing, Naruhodo. What's this talk about you having 3 different boyfriends? I mean, it's nothing against it, but like 3 of them at the same time? That's a lot of work. I mean, it made me so bold. I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, really? Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, the thing is,
I'm sorry that took so long.
Oh, this guy looks familiar. We've seen this guy before, I think. Mr. Sato.
Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags.
One moment, if you please, Polder.
Of course, sir. This guy's from the first game, I think, but I forget where. Is he the coach driver? I think he might be. I'll be your 4th boyfriend. She's underage.
That machine around your neck is a camera, I believe.
Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. I think I changed his accent. I don't know what it was going to be. All right, that's fine.
Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense.
15 will get you 20. That's correct. You're absolutely right. I'm pretty sure she's underage. She's like 16. I think Ryunosuke is like the same age. I think Kazuma's older, I want to say. Yeah, she is 16 because he just said 16 years ago was when she was born. He literally just said that. It's in the... I can look it up. Yeah, there it is. 16 years ago was when Susato was born. So yeah, I think Kazuma's slightly older, and I think Ryunosuke is the same age. I can stop talking about it so I don't get put on a list. Oh, you want us to stop talking about it? We can keep going if you want. We can just talk about more about it. About how underage she is.
Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense.
Ah, yes, of course. Oh, that's nice.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. Really made Father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then, but we were interrupted before. Mr. Mikotoba was about to ask me something.
Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yes, let's go. Getting more and more anxious about Kazuma, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Okay. So I could do that now, but I guess we'll do Sholmes' suite first. First of November, Sholmes' suite. It didn't give me a time, so I think we have to leave. Never mind. What the hell? What was that?
A man screaming in a most unflattering way.
You think? Could it have been Mr. Sholmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
Oh. Who the fuck? God, we're getting a lot of characters like right away. Also, is this supposed to be an Italian man? Child? Hey, I don't do it anymore. Or are they French? Is he Italian and he's French? Mon ami, stops this disgraceful display, huh? Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes.
Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not in prison. It is dark and damp, and I don't like it. Oh, the darkness, this is my friend. I am not scared. But you are always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. We'll finish this down in the yard. Now get moving.
Bye then, Judy. Have fun.
Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks. You're a great detective. What the fuck is happening?
Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Runo.
Hello, Iris. We're home.
Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon.
Whoa! Great! I love that we're bringing that up right away. Oh, that's so good that we're gonna have to deal with that.
Whew. Ah, yes, of course.
Dr. John H. Wilson, the guy we know who has been dead for like a year now and we haven't told his daughter. That guy. This is Sholmes for sure. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. What the hell? This is not a good look for you, Sholmes. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today?
In that case, let us sit and drink now. We're always got the mask behind him. I didn't even notice that. Hell yeah. I'm in fact expecting a guest later today. Please explain. What is happening?
Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before?
To go back to the old reliable Astolfosi. I was like, that seems like a delayed message. Yeah, that's... Forgot to hit enter, I see. Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you.
All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mount Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when the luck runs out. Ended up also making a quesadilla? A quesadilla? Hell yeah.
Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes.
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. Is his hair always red? Absolutely not.
You should have asked Grexy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
That is interesting. That's not what it was. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure.
Aha, I have it! A bungler, that's the word!
It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. Those redheads have been up to no good.
I wonder what the men did.
Pronounced Quess, and dildo with a Quesodillo? Quesadillo? I'm gonna call it a quesadilla, because that makes nobody happy. What was that about the greatest of problems known to man that you mentioned before?
Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance?
Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere, possibly.
It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we humans were once apes who lived in the treetops.
Wait, what? We were apes?
Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Try to pronounce some things so wrong, it makes people unsure if I'm stupid or making a joke. I sushi is sushi. Ooh, that's a good one. Some sushi?
It has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent.
But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel's only the other day?
Pshaw, a large sum. One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Hurley, you know you squandered it. Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least.
And what was the answer?
Why, there is a substantial clue. Before your very eyes.
Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses.
Sold his hair and is wearing a red wig. Maybe.
Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There is one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think.
In the end. Your bulge is pretty small today. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. We had the same fucking thought. Yep. We both immediately went to his cock. Alright, cool. Hey, that's my brain cell, alright? You can't have it.
I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on much longer. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Let's smoothly segue to the part where you lied to me about my best friend's death. Born with 2 brain cells, I just stole the one that has the horny, you know? Maybe. Just over a week ago, you said to us, I'm actually I'm the other, like, portion of your horny. You're actually horny for everything, but I'm horny for the other half. Just over a week ago, you said to us,
I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that.
what's the other half of everything? Self-explanatory. You're horny for one half of everything, and I'm horny for the other half. Which halves? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. At case aboard the SS Boria in January, Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on?
The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril.
Does that explain our mutual thirst for Mel Wib? Well, yeah, but we're horny for different reasons. It's two facets of the same love.
Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area.
I wanted to step on me, call me a silly little boy. Exactly. You wanted to step on you, and I want to climb that mountain.
And I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course.
But why? Why do it in the first place?
I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events.
What events?
His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh,
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment.
Mr. Sholmes. Okay. Can we examine this? The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeeks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. I mean, it was pretty cool.
want to give it back to him, I suppose.
But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself.
But isn't he your best friend?
Yeah, but we both know it's really rad. Okay, we've talked to Sholmes. Is there anything else to do over here? I guess not. I can't examine his hair, so... Alright. Sure we've asked everything we need to. Do I have to present something? I guess maybe there's something I have to examine? What about this? If I remember correctly, this large and imposing lump of iron is called a typewriter. No, Susato. He's my maybe boyfriend, maybe ex. All very complicated right now.
I think that every single one of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes blossomed from this very machine. Ah, it's such a dreamy thought.
I actually had to go on it the other day. The metal bars that move when you hit the keys got all tangled up somehow, and it made Iris angry.
Mr. Naruhodo, you are ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again.
That made Susato-san angry as well. Okay. Oh, was it this newspaper that I gotta look at? That's probably it. Yep.
This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's an advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Headed League."
The Red-Headed League? What's that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but
Is something on my face?
Clearly this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Okay. That was what I needed. And converse. Okay, I have to present that. Up. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes.
To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in some way?
I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair.
So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
In the first instance, and quite indispensable, observation.
Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut.
So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits.
Regale or boast? Alright, here we go. So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled?
You noticed it in the paper then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment.
It was? How?
According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecified governance.
Does this have to do with the professor cutscene we saw at the start of this chapter? Oh, like the thing that he was talking about, the opening cutscene? Maybe. I think they mentioned something about it. Yeah, the part with the redheads and the visuals. Yeah. That makes sense.
In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair.
That doesn't entirely surprise me.
Well, listen to what the lucky redheads received once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week?
Why? What are they paying people for?
That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every redheaded person in the country would be flocking to join if that's the case. Or in that case. All right, Susie, there's no time to lose. I'll put in my application at once. So will I, just on the off chance.
That might be stretching a point, I think.
The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see.
Oh, I see. Once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can.
But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
You decided to try and join in his place.
Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow?
No.
So why? Why did it have to go so wrong?
What on earth happened?
A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry.
Chemistry? So like a hair dye? So exactly like a hair dye, right?
I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that when taken, turns one's hair a flame-like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson.
I think I'll pass.
Well, Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I never should have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. Do you mean to say?
But of course. To earn £4 a week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger.
That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, he's got cancer now. Hurley left full of Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street, where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
What went wrong?
The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a Costa's orange barrow.
What? A Coster's orange barrow? No idea what that means.
I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. When the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which I could do a little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads.
You turned them into the police because they pissed you off? They're not scam artists at all. You just didn't like them.
Mr. Sholmes, you mentioned before that you were expecting a guest today.
Indeed, Mr. Sato. That is correct.
Another of those red-headed gentlemen that were here before.
Not at all. They were petty villains. The guest I am expecting is a client.
Oh.
A young gentlewoman who wishes to appoint the services of this great detective, no less.
Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. We're finally going to get paid properly.
You must stay and observe the fashion in which a great detective receives his customers.
Must we?
I have you in my clutches now, Rent, just as I have you in my clutches, redheads.
That hearty laugh is masking rather sinister thoughts, I feel.
You know, the date isn't due for another hour yet.
Don't feel as though you must wait around if you have other things to do.
Alright, I won't. Go talk to Strongheart. See if we can get some answers. Ah! Barrack! How's it going? 1st of November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's Office. The gate events in Golden Saucer are fun. I did some earlier today. They are. I actually like them. I haven't played the new Leap of Faith map yet. I used to play a lot of Leap of Faith back when I was really grinding MGP. When I first started playing, they were doing a rerun of the FF15 crossover event, so you could get the Regalia 4-seater mount, which is a really cool mount that you can't get anymore. And yeah, we farmed our asses off to try and... I just noticed that my cat has knocked over my laundry basket and is now lounging in it. Let me see if you can see him. Oops, didn't mean to pull that out. Really hard to see. See him in there? I have legs, I do. Crazy, I know. What a cutie. Alright, anyways. That was important. We had to do it. I feel like this is tilted somehow. I don't know how that happened. But it's fine. Over here and down. Right. Oh, I know why I'm off center. I've moved my chair over. Hang on. There we go. A lot of scars on my arm that look like self-harm marks, but they're actually just from my cat getting mad at me for either picking him up to kick him out of my room or petting him too much. Yeah, that'll happen. They're, they can be a little aggressive, but it's okay. They're cute, so it's all right. I've definitely got him. I've gotten gashed by him a couple times. He's a biter. He likes to bite people. Never really hard unless you're really fucking with him, but yeah, he was a bitey cat. That was especially back when he was a farm cat, and he just kind of hung out at my grandparents', which is where he's originally from, by the way. He is a rehabilitated farm cat, which is why I spend so much time outdoors. And yeah, he was always very bitey. Always biting my grandpa, or my opa, as I call him. Anyways, here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. Oh, you put the two characters that have the most similar voices together. Cool. I've supplemented your original with the figures you have asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeeks doing here?
Why, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. Really don't need any more attention.
My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me.
Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
Now then, Mr. Nodohodo.
Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Kill me now.
Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature.
If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise.
Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks. I will attend at once.
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I?
These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? A cat likes grabbing.
Mr. Nodohodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Ah, of course. Another thing that I did. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation.
in the sausage shooting minigame, the one gives me a bit of motion sickness. Oh, Air Force One or whatever. Yeah, I can see that being giving people motion sickness.
You didn't concern yourself with it any further.
It'd be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing?
What's become of Kazuma-sama now?
Yeah, I get that.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
That is the population of my country. Jesus. The 30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Strongheart's head.
Man, how did Van Zieks land such a good twink? I need one myself. Where'd Cosmo go? Is he taken?
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital of Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
Sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium has to be hosted here, at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
Same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something.
Every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thanks for the pep talk.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. But the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions.
Sorry about that.
I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
And can you not do that now?
Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Intended repercussions of our trial?
We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Sounds like the sort of motivation a villain might have to do some questionable shit. Nothing will stand in your way, like the evidence, maybe? About Lord Van Zieks' apprentice. That is incorrect, pluralization on there. He's gonna shoot someone? Probably.
Yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place?
It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him mining aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my! So we stowed away to get here.
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact that he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks, that way I could keep an eye on him.
But then, why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice.
Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask.
He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future.
By the way, do you know where he's gone?
I did not want his racism to act up. That shit is not okay. No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh,
I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean.
Genshin Asogi. Yeah, sure, let's talk about that extremely personal and terrible thing. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was...
Yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
they were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
Yeah, how did we prove that?
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand.
Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause.
What? Supporters of a mass murderer?
The majority of the men's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway.
Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? Also, was Clint Van Zieks a scumbag? Probably ask Merrick about that. I imagine he would disagree.
It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
That's true. Might be a connection there. Okay, is there anything more we need to do here? I think that's it. I guess we go back to Sholmes' suite? Was Clint Van Zieks actually Cunt Van Zieks? Ding-a-ling-a-ling! That's my phone impression, do you like it?
Ah! Here is my guest now, my latest client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley. Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course.
Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Why is his hair red? He was trying to ingratiate. Oh, fuck, not this lady again. He was trying to join a society of red-haired people because you get a salary if you do. But he was not able to join. It's like the League of Red-Haired Gentlemen or something.
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh, please. Please find my husband, he's run away.
The redhead cult? Yeah.
Son of a bitch, to upset me. I beg your pardon. Never mind, a personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruto?
I didn't say a word.
Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Of course.
What's the matter, Mr. Sada?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yes, now you come to mention it. It's been a few days. Are you kidding me? Yes, he does have Cosmo's mask on the table. Apparently, Ryunosuke, after Cosmo just threw it aside, Ryunosuke picked it up and took it with him because he was like, fuck it, it looks cool.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil.
Evie Vigil? I don't know what the pun is there.
I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object, simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence. I will of course make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also. I might inquire, sir. Who the fuck is this dirty Japanese man? This gentleman and lady would be.
Oh, me?
What I am about to tell you, I should like to communicate with the strictest confidence, you understand? Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you would say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, I'm his boyfriend. He's hard of hearing.
Why did I ever get my hopes up? Okay. Mrs. Vigil, Mr. Vigil, and your husband's disappearance. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh my. Ah, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. We all look alike to you, huh, you racist fuck? If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I knew I recognized her. Have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand? Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much.
I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner.
Yes.
Just about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, my daily.
Daily vigil? Okay. That one's clear. That one's pretty obvious. Oh, is Evie supposed to be evening vigil? God damn it.
Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Alright.
An entirely unremarkable gentleman. By appearance, at least. How long have you been married? It will be 15 years this year.
Oh, good for you.
We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
A cordial relationship with your wife? You think it'd be a little better, but okay. I suppose that's better than a lot of people can ask for.
As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh. Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he's become embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see.
Okay. How the fuck does Mahjong work? Great question. No fucking idea. Matt and Ron know, I'm pretty sure. I think at one point they were teaching people. But I was like, I'm good.
What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison.
A guard? That is somewhat unusual. Does this game have a blackjack game in the GS? I don't think so. I think Mahjong is the only one. It does have Triple Triad, which is its own card game it invented. Which is pretty decent, but gets pretty complicated. But there's a lot of alternate rules they use.
So, your husband is a prison warder? That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they are carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments?
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Berkeley Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really, Berkeley? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Nogate Cemetery.
Which ones? I recognize those. No. Logate Cemetery. The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable, my dear fellow. and yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam, pay no heed. A private matter.
This can't really be a coincidence, can it?
So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry, yesterday.
That really is recent. Laughably so. You're a pro tag in a video game, there's no such thing as coincidence. You're not wrong.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. Not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return at home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever could have happened? My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my detective powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. It's really all there is to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. Any sum? Like anything?
Please do a dance of deduction looking like that? Oh boy. Maybe. You seek only to put that sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it.
Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Like the time bomb gravity inverter one, that one was really good. That was well made. His like Dio walk as he's walking through the fucking floating shit. That was great.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I always say. Would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession?
Okay.
Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
Okay.
You know, I think it's every time, Hurley. But how do you come up with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I really gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Norahodo?
Don't look at me with those pleading eyes.
Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case?
Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. For him to freak out about the task? Yeah, that's the next step.
Excellent, and what did you make of it?
Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean.
Ah, so you noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Logate Cemetery.
Logate Cemetery is the rear of Barclay Prison, though it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated.
The professor.
And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem.
All very peculiar.
Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Norahodo.
Sorry?
Run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried.
But aren't you going to yourself? I read that is incinerated? Hopefully not. Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair? It was a quite different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Cool. I guess if he gets evicted, we have no place to stay, so... fucking might as well. Of course you are. Alrighty. Let's do it. Oh. Berkeley Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. My upper lip feels weird. Four high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Wow, really? You've got an automated guillotine grandfather clock? Jesus, man. Good lord. 1st of November, Berkeley Prison, Governor's Office. Oh my god.
This place is full of hardened criminals. I cannot...
Oh, this guy's Scottish.
I cannot remember the last time a civilian was done here.
This guy fucking Clayton from Tarzan? Jesus Christ.
And you do not want to talk to an inmate, but to me.
Wow. Armstrong?
You ken who I am. I'm the governor, Barry Caden.
Hmm? Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Rinosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer.
An Easterner, I see. Does that mean...
Yes, I'm a visiting student of the Empire, from the Empire of Japan. Barricade? Oh, Barry Caden? Yeah, that makes sense. That's good.
Japan? Did you say Japan?
Yes?
Well, there's no any... There's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh?
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir.
Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about...
I don't like to be so direct, but... I'd no intention of speaking with the likes of you or suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out my hair.
So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means...
I think it's because of the professor case.
I think so too. 10 years ago. Yay, more racists? Yeah. Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison.
Hey, I'm alone. You're just sniffing about around about that case, are you? Your agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt.
No, not at all. We're just...
Get gone with you, before I punch your lights out.
We're going. Maybe the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. Not going to get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden.
What are you thinking, Mr. Sato?
I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us.
Oh, who did talk about him? Was it Strongheart? Think of it, I have the same feeling. Or was it oh, it was fucking Mikotoba and Jigoku, I think. Was it them? I think it was, yeah. Oh, look at him. Such a dapper man. Is the judge here? No, he's not. Okay. That's Professor Mikotoba over there.
Hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked.
Where's Judge Jigoku?
Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived from the country today. Goodness, he is full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Berkeley Prison.
Oh, Governor Caden, you mean?
What is the same man?
Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story.
Oh, would you? That'd be wonderful, if you have time now.
Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment.
He's drinking coffee on a comfortable settee.
Now, I have a rather lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know.
Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I?
You Mikitobas are...
Oh.
Us Mikitobas.
Yeah, you Mikitobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
That's not followed now. I have an idea.
What are you writing on that piece of paper?
I'm getting a British twink. Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune.
Ah, thank you. Alright.
Good luck then.
Can I read that? Professor Mikitoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy?
I do wish you'd at least call you a nice young man.
I'm really not sure that would help. Also, what's with this? Oh. Oh, it's his ferry ticket. And the corner's ripped off. I feel like that's going to come up at some point.
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Gross, first class cabin, 01. Yokohama departure, 11th September, London arrival, 1st November.
Ah, that's the boat Professor Mikitoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's called at Dunkirk at the on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Bodia. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Miss Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Aha! Okay, and the corner's missing. This is going to become relevant, weirdly enough. Okay, cool. Let's go back. My voice is already hurting. But I want to go till 10 o'clock at least. Whoops. Hello, I'm not suspicious. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden.
What's this then? You cannot pull the wool out of my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikitoba. That young jock from the forensics laboratory. That Mikitoba.
Yes, exactly. Him.
Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jings, you're a young man's daughter. And you didn't think to mention that before?
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And don't forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits.
Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
Oh then, what can I do for you?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing.
Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
Handcuff biscuits, this man loves his job. Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting an Armstrong vibe from him. Fucking, not Senator Armstrong, fucking Colonel Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist. Probably, I should clarify, because they are similar. Build-wise.
I heard of nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh,
But how can that be?
it's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Eh? Vigil?
That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course.
Alright, here we go. We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison. Oh, excuse me. Oh, God. Oof, snuck up on me.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder.
Was? Was? What do you mean was? Was? Hello? Was? Hi? Was? Was? Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he doesn't work here anymore. He left the job.
Oh my!
When was this exactly? Really? The comb?
Here's a question. When was it about? Can't have been much less than 10 years ago now.
What? 10 years ago? You stopped working here 10 years ago?
Yes, I mind it. Do you know Ken? I heard the fellow's name in all that time.
Yeah, his grandfather clock has no hands on it. I guess they didn't want to have, like, a case of the narration saying one time and the grandfather clock having to match that. So they're just like, fucking take the hands off, it's fine. It's whatever. No one's gonna care.
That's a worry if he's gone missing, though.
But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. They chopped them off.
I think perhaps, Miss Naruto, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? It's an elaborate noisemaker. Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here?
That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? Naruhodo? Naruhodo?
Falling apart over here. I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago.
Ah,
Yeah, based on the timeline, it has to be the professor case, which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison.
so Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of chief warder 10 years ago, you're telling us?
Yeah, how is he making his money? That's going to be a very important question.
What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed? I'm sorry, we're talking to you. Can you not turn away from us? What the fuck?
It was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's sort of word for it in here. A walk to the gallows.
An execution.
It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
Let him go.
I'm sorry, but I cannot reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post.
Why wouldn't Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
Would I ken anything about that, I'm afraid?
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, in?
Is he called women hens? That's kind of weird, but whatever.
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly.
I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that.
I see.
Okay.
My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. Which you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another.
It's a big bird in a small cage. I hope it's stuffed. It hasn't moved yet, so here's hoping.
After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. You can?
Yes, I can imagine.
The advancement in medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today.
Saint Sinners. That's come up before, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Ikotoba and IF used to ride in the carriage together and negotiate terms.
More fresh material, I suppose.
Aye, and we used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Ugh, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cup biscuits, of course.
How charming.
He was a good fella, your father. Reliable, and did sit on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Isogi, I suppose.
No, actually, I just don't understand the language. I tried to learn it, but ugh, couldn't hack it. Very, very complex. Well, I cannot tell you anything else.
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one more before you're away in.
Oh my god, he's got a hatchet at his side. This dude's hardcore.
I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir to your visit the prison.
What is it?
Here, what the fuck is a kanji? Never understood it. That's Visual's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind.
I apologize for the Scottish accent. Thank you very much, Governor Caden.
Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil. Oh, will he tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder? Excuse me. Alright. Back we go. 1st of November, Sholmes' suite. We're back.
Hello, you two.
Oh, this is Iris, actually.
I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all.
Ah, so that's what that delicious smell is. Oh my god. He's becoming an e-boy. No! No! How could this happen? Truly a fate worse than death.
Greetings, my dear fellows. Returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Starting an OnlyFans, I see. What's next, purple? Maybe.
Hello, Mr. Holmes.
Say nothing. Your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application.
Oh my.
Pray, tell me, what of your warder friend? Our warder friend. Have you gotten some new information?
Cat's beginning to lose his mind. Oh, yes, something very surprising, in fact. Though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest.
It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that...
Sholmes! Oh, it's Gina.
Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important.
Gina? Oh. What is happening with Gina?
I can't believe it.
What the fuck happened?
What's happened?
Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever.
It's the boss.
What do you mean? Inspector Gregson?
The boss he's dead.
What? What? Gregson died? What happened? Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, our boy died? I can't talk in this voice anymore? It's one of my favorites. Oh shit. Are you fucking serious? I hope this is a fake out. I really hope so, but holy fuck. What happened? What?
I just found his body. Shot with a pistol.
What?
What? Inspector Gregson?
He was murdered.
No, go, Gregsy.
Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Holy fuck. They're playing this pretty straight. I think he could actually be dead. That's fucking wild. We just started this case. What is happening? There's like 4 different plot threads happening and now Gregsy's dead. I fucking called him Gregsy on reflex. Gregson. Jesus. You serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson he was really shot?
I don't know much about what happened myself yet. Yeah, still there, investigating the scene.
Where did this take place? Yeah, we better find the true killer.
A little rented room in a building full of flats on Fresno Street.
Outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then.
The thing is, no one in the yard knows nothing about no case around there.
Oh, if it was Mr. Vigil, yeah, there's probably some connection.
Oh, how strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Ginny.
Yo, this fucking sucks. I liked Grayson. He was really good. I thought he was a really fun character. Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Keep going. So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is?
They got him already.
Already? They've caught the shooter so soon?
A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What other person did this?
Those body of fish and chips nearby. It's actually in a pile of fish and chips. The bag of holding broken. All of it came out at once.
I still can't believe it myself.
Was it Kazuma?
Gina? It was the Reaper.
Like Van Zeeks? Or the Reaper's... No, he's never been in court. We literally just saw him. What? Who's going to be the prosecutor, Kazuma? Wait a minute. You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zeeks for it?
That's right. That Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss.
No. Lord Van Zeeks? It's the Edgeworth case all over again? Oh god, you're right. Is this going to be a case of we're going to have to defend Lord Van Zeeks, but he's not going to fucking say what happened at any point during the case? And we're going to have to figure it out on our own? Because if that's the case, I'm going to be upset. Oh, is the prosecutor they bring in maybe Van Karma's ancestor? Yo, that would be crazy if they're going to remake the last case of Ace Attorney 1. That would be nuts. Are you quite sure, Mr. Strahd? It's Beric Van Zeeks the police have arrested? Oh, maybe Strongheart himself. That could be it. I think it might be Kazuma, but we'll see.
I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But there were witnesses, and they're all saying it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently, and when our lot got to the scene, it was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room.
Yeah, Kazuma makes the most sense, but the name of this case has Karma in it, and that's why I think like an ancestor of Manfred von Karma is going to show up. I just don't know in what capacity. It would make sense if he was the prosecutor, but it'd be kind of left field to just introduce a new one out of nowhere.
There was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room.
There's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Yo, this case is fucking nuts.
Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strahd. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing.
Gregson was a side hoe, there's no way. Oh man, Van Zieks was cheating on me. That son of a bitch. I should have known.
Well, anyway, I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all, as soon as you can. You gotta help.
This fucking sucks, dude. This is rough.
It's a detective's lot to appear whenever there's some sinister plot is unfolded. No wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves.
Mr. Sholmes. His side piece remembered that he was the professor's son, so Zeeks couldn't have him anymore. Yeah, he tried to coerce Gregson and shot him. Terrible.
What use is there in being a great detective if I failed to see something like this coming, hmm? How could I let this happen to Gregson? To Gregson!
Fuck! I can't believe he's actually dead!
Mr. Naruhodo, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations.
Of course, yes, we will too.
It would be helpful if you could talk to the Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you intended to do so anyway. Until later then.
This is the most serious I think we've ever seen, Sholmes. Inspector Gregson dead, and Lord Van Zieks arrested.
Bruno, Susie, I've called you a hansom. It's waiting outside.
Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sato?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Ooh, do we go to... Let's go to talk to Van Zieks first. And then we'll go to the scene. Oh, there he is. 1st November, local prisons, cell 1. There he is. Lord Van Zieks behind bars. He's going to request Ryu to be his lawyer because he's the only one that beat him in court. I imagine it's going to be something along those lines. Of the Edgeworth, like, I hate to ask this of you, but you're the only one I trust. You're the only one that will take my case. Because nobody likes me.
So it's true. He really was arrested.
Sitting with his back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks. Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I'd like to be. The last person on Earth I'd like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. That Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. What?
Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree.
With Edgeworth, it was his fault. Yeah, it's true. Fucking, he made an enemy of every defense lawyer in the country except for Phoenix. And not for a lack of trying. He threatened to take you away from me, so I had to do this to him. You understand? I had to do it to him.
Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please.
There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Is it something related to the case? It was fan fiction. This? The Yard isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance.
Oh, who might that be?
Someone you know, as it happens. Albert Harebrain. That was my guess. What other fucking friends do you have? Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. I was reading the story I commissioned where I was railing you from... Well, you know what? Maybe we'll talk about something else. I wanted it to be a surprise for you, actually. And I would like to read my correspondence in peace. So let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. They seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Probably because he's behind bars and can't physically assault men. Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? Now would be a good time for the Magatama. Yeah, this is prime Magatama material.
We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room, and that some witnesses heard the gunshot.
Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot? Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work with alongside. I also heard the noise. However, before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. But he doesn't actually know what happened. You need to be let out? Hey. You need to be let out? Psst, psst, psst. Yeah, he's giving me that look. Alright, hang on. You're back. Won't take a second. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go refill my water while I'm out there, so... I'll take a short break while I go do that. Can't believe Steve Jobs died of Ligma. Ligma ball. Anyways. Right, I'm back. So he doesn't actually know what happened.
If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with?
Excuse me. I don't need to answer that.
Oh,
After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Okay. I was down on my knees. Well, actually, I'll tell you more about that if you become my lawyer. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine.
would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as of yet?
Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now.
Surely not.
I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the edge of a barge pole. You didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? Oops. I'm defending myself, that always goes swell. All of the 0 times I've done it. It's been 10 years now since that I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, seems that things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? Yeah, literally the same situation of Edgeworth. He's just such a scary prosecutor that nobody wants to fucking defend him. After the trial, Professor Harebrained was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper.
Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean?
Yes, so it seems. If I win the next Cacpock lottery, do I win it life? Absolutely. That's a personal victory you get to carry with you for the rest of your life. Are you kidding me? Wish I could win the fucking Cacpock lottery. Your stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an author now. Happily working in Tokyo. Oh, excuse me.
So Professor Harebrained is safely back in Germany now.
He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. I'm gonna keep that in the pocket every time there's an awkward silence. So, it seems our conversation has run dry. Goodbye. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks. If you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. So I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Someone went high, :3. Run. Just log off. Just get out of there. Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please. I have no intention of engaging your services. Chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Then neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper. And find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. I would leave, but it's done, Scathe? That's fair. Don't want to incur the penalty. All right, let's see it. Oh, what the fuck? No case, huh? Sure looks like one on the fucking cork board. Actually, it's just a regular board. It's not even cork. 1st of November, room on Fresno Street. Is that a red wig? Jesus Christ. And a fucking... what was that? Police toy? Like a police action figure? This really is an out-of-the-way part of London. I don't know many people find their way down this back street. So this dust-ridden rented old room is where it happened then.
So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life.
Yes. The police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps his investigations have taken him elsewhere.
Oi, what you think you're doing here? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can get a look underneath it all. I want the space above this ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you lot never gone over a house looking for dough when the owners are out of town?
And he's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants everyone to adopt.
Oh, so you turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been there long myself.
Hello again, Gina.
James has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. They went prancing around in here, pointing at stuff and flicking that hat of his and didn't just scarp him. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah, he didn't stop to say nothing to no one. Not even me.
Gina, do you mind if we investigated too?
Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right?
Yes.
Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to up that Reaper bloke, are you?
Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That trial will haunt her forever.
Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth of what really happened here.
Thank you, Gina. Alright, let's take a look. First of all, we got a picture.
Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah.
What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head.
They are! Look, Mr. Nodohodo, quickly!
Oh! Okay, well, there's the connection to fucking Daily Vigil. Jeez. Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Literally just talked to her, like, 30 minutes ago.
Of course she's familiar! What the fuck? We met her only this morning!
Ah! It's
Mrs. Vigil! Like, I know the pipes are made out of lead, but holy fuck! This makes no sense. Why would there be a picture of Mrs. Vigil in here?
Be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped.
Well, as long as I can still be Susato. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either.
Okay, I have to examine that. What about this shit?
This looks like some sort of notice board or something.
It's absolutely covered in scraps of paper.
Ah, Mr. Nodohodo, look!
This, you mean? It's an autopsy report, isn't it?
And these are case notes here, and details of prison inmates.
Yes, in fact, they're all the sort of documents that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room?
Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here.
Oh, yes, the advertisement, you mean. The Red-Headed League. But why? What's that doing here?
Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason.
Okay, what about these pictures up here? Can we investigate these? Apparently not. Alright, we'll leave the chimney for now. I don't think that's super important. Oh, what's this?
What would appear to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way.
Seeing as it's on the floor here, you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson?
It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeeks playing with something like this.
Only about 8 centimeters tall. Could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case.
Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way.
Okay, I have to investigate that. The gun, obviously. This is presumably the murder weapon, then.
Oh my, it is real, I suppose.
I think so. Since they're so rare in Japan, I really know very little about them.
There's one way to know for sure, Mr. Naruto. Fire a shot! Preferably one of the police, a cab!
No, no, no! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. Probably safer to just ask someone who might know, I think. Well, best to avoid handling it. I mean, I can't examine it. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing.
No, funnily enough, neither can I.
It's a hairpiece, isn't it?
It is! A bright red hairpiece!
I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where this body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it?
And it's such a flame-colored red, too.
Yes, that's a color we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly! This is a vital clue, I'm sure of it.
Presumably it belonged to Inspector Gregson. Hell of a leap we're making here. Yeah, clearly someone was trying to do what Sholmes was. Well, I suppose this is where the victim...
That's right. The rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found.
Oh, they used rope. I feel like they've mentioned that before, but I never clocked it. Instead of chalk.
Or Inspector Gregson himself had already been taken away.
And would probably be under Dr. Syed's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week.
From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruto? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
I know it's just a rope, but... well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that bloodstain next to it.
Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality.
Sato-san is so strong, though. He's taking this far better than I am. Okay, I guess we'll check the chimney. An empty fireplace makes a room feel even colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it?
It's thick with dust, look. I think it would be fair to say it hasn't been used in a very long time.
In other words, whoever lived in this room must have been extremely hardy in cold weather.
Or nobody lived here at all and merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely.
No, that's right. It's one or the other. Okay. Mark on the floor where the door opens, but I can't investigate that. I can investigate the policeman, but I don't think that's super useful. Candle stands might be useful. Top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off.
Yes, there's wax spattered on the wall behind, look.
I suppose if a bullet had hit it.
It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body.
Ugh. And that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. There we go. So the angle of the shot must have been very low for that to hit. Okay. Busted up window. Yeah, like it's really high up on the wall, so the angle must have been like in his stomach and shot up. That's what I'm thinking. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed those boards over the broken glass, haven't they? Didn't even really call it a window anymore.
Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsume's room, that was totally blocked up with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so you could say...
Say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsume now. Okay. I guess we'll investigate the police. It's the only thing we have left to investigate. See what they say. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sure. Poor man, he can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Alright. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right, perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. Man, apparently very beloved. As if this wasn't sad enough. Excuse me. If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I've interrupted some deep thoughts here. Cool. Oops. Can we talk to Gina? Let's talk to Gina. Only time I'll feel bad for the cops, exactly. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what? After years since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up my diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But turns out he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case, just like that. He did? Yep, and ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. That's suspicious. That's really suspicious. That makes me think that maybe he was not as on the level as people thought he maybe was. No one else at the yard knows even what APFA cases he's working on are, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? But what was the legendary inspector doing in a dingy little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for your Reaper and all, and look what that landed him. Respect for the Reaper? In what way? I am say as much. I'd take my hat off for that fella. What his words? I don't know how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why I respected the bloke. I didn't realize Gregson held the Reaper in quite such high regard. He said something else to me and all. But I didn't mean to worry about the Reaper, because he only goes after people who are bad. It kind of set my mind at ease when he said that. Right. Was Gregson the Reaper? Was he the one killing people? Or was he part of a group that was doing it? I don't know. That's a little sus. What is this place then? Does anybody live here? Apparently it's being written by some code called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. I don't know the pun. Hugh Boone. Still Scathe can't Google, yeah, no worries. Sort of a here today, gone tomorrow name, that isn't it? What? Yeah, it's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearances, I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right, all of that's from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sada? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following a line of inquiry like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it. We really investigate this place in detail. Already did, but cool. I see that's where the poor inspector was found. Over there. Yeah, that's right. They said it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently, the bullet went right through him and struck through that candle tree on the wall. Yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely.
And the gun uses there on the floor. It's the Reaper's, isn't it? No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. Only saying what I've heard. Don't know much about the guns myself. There's some big wig lawman or whatever who said so. Why don't you ask him? A big wig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along that window there. There were some street sellers just outside who heard the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anybody outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning, that's why. We're talking about the yard's legendary inspector here, after all. They'll be getting a grilling. You think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? I doubt it. And that's that the yard would just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all. But we can't interview the witnesses then. Shame. Is there more to do in here? I think there might be, yeah. Oh, maybe not. Okay, I think we have to go back to the Justice's office based on the clue. Oh, we're not seeing the scene right away, huh? That's concerning. 1st of November, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. You've made good time. Hugh Boone is named after Hugh Booner after Craig's big dick. Oh, is this Cosima? I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart. Can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Ah, it is. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's... Kazuma-sama! Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson. I believe only in the facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not. It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. But does that mean trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Mr. Asogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings. Leading the prosecution. Yeah, pretty obvious. Wait, what? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Yeah, that was an easy one. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor. Can we talk to him? I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be all right now. Is his memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything. I really hope he gets to dual-wield swords at one point, because he's got both of them. That'd be pretty sick. Isn't Von Karma German or something? I believe so, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's not like Karma the name, it's just Karma the concept in the name. But I really thought he might be coming in. He might still. There's still time. There was a big lawman they mentioned. Including what I was coming here to do. Right. Kazuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But How did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia?
Was the voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. I came here to find a twink, much like many people in the world. It's the twink capital. It was that voice that guided me here to London.
I'm so sorry for what's happened.
Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before.
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
Okay.
I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds.
There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper of the Bailey. And now, the Reaper himself must stand in the dock.
Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper.
To fight Cosmo and Cord, who is Zeke's true boyfriend.
Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths.
But Lord Van Zeeks firmly denies any involvement in such matters.
There have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. A ton of people, including me, just sweep on the dead goth GF. Yeah, that's been a long time thing. It's happening more frequently now that more people have access to that emote. Thanks to the Tombstone event.
That's certainly true, or it has been at least, until now.
Ah!
No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history.
Okay. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow.
That's right.
But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart.
We're getting rid of the jury. Ever wonder why it didn't show up in other games? This is why. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I've no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor.
But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain.
It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial.
You asked for this? Whoop, I clicked too fast. I assume that said why? Yep, but why?
It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation.
I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact.
You are quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way.
Ah,
After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, a pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks.
that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution.
Ryunosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed, after practicing law in this land for so many months.
Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend.
I want him in jail for stealing my twink.
Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Gregson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks?
The jury is going to be all the defense lawyers that he went up against. Totally rigged. Like, I'm just telling you right now, this shit's not going to be fair. That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene.
Well, the thing is, he wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know.
That's right, Ms. Nodohodo. Be direct.
It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine.
No, I can't imagine that. Why are you giving lawyers guns? What the hell?
In that case, it could have actually belonged to the victim.
No. Gregson had his gun on his person.
What about Lord Van Zieks?
He claims it's currently not in his possession.
What?
According to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that it's actually his.
Imagine arming the judges as well, yeah. Let's give this 80-year-old a gun, see how it goes. But holding this piss the entire Dunskate then free, oh, that's the worst. Especially on like the near raids. If you gotta pee during the near raids, it's like, God, I hope you're not an important role and you can just AFK for a second. Because it's just brutal. Brutally long.
But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's, it's no proof that it's actually his.
I think I read that already, it's fine. Objection! Overruled!
No, of course not.
Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zieks. It doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Strongheart.
Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you could learn from the public gallery.
Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Oh. Before you go, Ryunosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma?
I just wanted to thank you.
Kazuma-sama, what?
You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection.
You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you.
Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here.
Oh,
I actually have a favor to ask.
Which is?
This trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel.
Why? What's this all about?
I know you have what it takes.
But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands.
Bring me as many twinks as you can find. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent.
He does?
It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this.
Oh, was that him and his brother? And Gregson too, oh shit. That's
Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson.
in a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person?
It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office.
In Gregson's office, you mean?
Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking might take him, some straight talking makes him take a different view. Because you've been talking gay to him a lot, and that's really not going to work in this particular instance. Take it. I know talking straight for you is hard.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Just hurry, Ryunosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over.
What are you doing, Kazuma? Alright, well, I thought everyone would leave after that, but they're still there. Weirdly enough.
Talking straight is hard for you, but not as hard as you make me. Ryunosuke, hurry!
Well, okay, I'm going. What'd you say? What? No, I'm going, never mind. 1st of November, local prison cell, number 1. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter.
We've been gone quite some time, though.
Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can.
I heard that, you bitch. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that.
I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time.
Yes, we heard that your trial is set for tomorrow.
Which is none of your business.
So, you found a lawyer? Yeah, he really did fucking get me.
How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you.
In other words, no.
We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided.
I'd expect nothing less. Though I have no idea who it is.
It's going to be Kazuma Asogi.
Asogi?
That made the color drain from his face, and there's not a lot to begin with.
Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all.
Alright, I'm just gonna present this immediately. Lord Van Zeeks, we came by this old photograph.
Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost.
Is the man on the left there?
Yes, that's my brother, Clint.
Yep. You got this? It had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Gregson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that?
Respect. That's nonsense.
No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less.
Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you.
I feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then, too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes, a brief twinkle, an insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the stone-cold Reaper of the Bailey.
He was my former ex. We had to break it off, the age gap was too much. His obsession with fish and chips just became too much. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecutions at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi.
Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father.
So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court.
I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. Is the term kangaroo court that old, actually? I didn't even think about that, but I wonder what the origin of that came from, like what time period. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you.
It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset.
But what could he have been hoping to achieve?
And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this trial to somebody like that?
Asogi. That name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese.
Right, your hatred of all us Japanese.
I'd only just been appointed as a prosecutor when it happened 10 years ago. My brother Clint, the director of prosecutions, was hunting down a mass murderer.
The so-called professor.
Assigned to the investigation as his partner was a certain visiting student dispatched from Scotland Yard.
And that was Genshin Asogi.
Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But None of us saw the true nature of the man.
Don't like this music. That's very not nice to the ears.
So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong.
Oh, how awful.
To avenge my brother, I prosecuted Inasoki's trial. It wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I beleaguered the ascribed prosecutor until he consented.
What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor?
The man in charge of the professor case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart.
Ha 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 ha! And the plot thickens! Wait, what? Lord Strongheart?
He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted.
I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as prosecutor.
Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, you should arrive in London. But you...
Ah,
and all things as a lawyer.
Hey, Toaster. Why is Van Zeeks in jail? Because he's been accused of murdering Inspector Gregson. Because Inspector Gregson is dead. Which sucks hard. Yeah, Gregson died. I was as surprised as you. I have to watch VODs now. It's getting intense, man. I felt your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I have to watch VODs now. Just play the game yourself.
I've kept telling myself it was illogical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it.
And I can understand why. Now I know the history.
But in the same way that I've long felt the Nipponese to be the bane of my life. To Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows.
What was the history? Was the vampire that cursed him Japanese? The professor who was a mass murderer in London was a visiting Japanese student who killed his brother. Who also was Kazuma's father.
He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. The professor being Japanese was pretty obvious from the outset once we learned who it was. Or, like, what he did. The father twist was interesting.
Gregson's transfer to the Paris police prefecture had finally been arranged for the coming month. But he'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy.
Oh, yes. Come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? Yeah, the fact that he kept his identity hidden was pretty obvious that it was like, oh, it's a Japanese guy. Why else would they do it? Either that or it was like a fucking member of royalty or something.
I wonder, does it happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean.
It's the first time I've ever encountered it.
Oh,
The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place.
Sounds like that mystery is even the Reaper perplexed.
I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend at Scotland Yard.
Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made a name for himself, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the professor's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach to the case, the discovery would never have been made.
What sort of approach?
After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed for a full autopsy.
Oh my, 10 years ago.
Why is that so surprising?
Autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. And my brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary.
His powerful convictions somehow influenced the House of Lords, and as a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So, you must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then.
And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life.
Inspector Gregson. Okay, I thought there was more to that. I thought there was going to be a follow-up sentence. There was not. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be that it is. What do you expect me to say to that?
Lord Strongheart informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm.
As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know.
Oh,
I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. I must have stowed it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps.
you have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks after all, Mr. Naruhodo. A talent for misplacing things.
No, this has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese.
Oh dear. The rift is very wide, isn't it?
So it's not decisive evidence, clearly, but it doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust the police, the judiciary, or lawyers. But there's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. A simple determination to know the truth.
Lord Van Zeeks.
From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now, I couldn't deny it, even though I dearly wished I could. Here was a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. There are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi.
Really, Genshin Asogi? I'm still thinking that maybe Genshin Asogi didn't do it. I think he got framed, maybe by Strongheart. I don't know. I feel like Strongheart's suspicious for some reason. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way.
When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me.
You mean this photograph? Or this photograph?
Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. But at times, the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe.
I'm so sorry. Really working out a lot right now. Like, should I get a therapist over here? They might be more qualified to have this conversation.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me?
Of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Mr. Naruhodo.
Then my life is in your hands. What I'm saying is, stop giving me fuck me eyes in court. I can't work when I'm hard. That's why I keep losing.
Just fuck me already, you coward. It must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask. Which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma.
Blood isn't the only thing I'll suck. Get this fucking door open.
To be continued. All right. Wow, this case is off to a wild start. Holy shit.
Oh, it's true. You can just stick your dick through the bars. You're right. You're totally right. Yeah, the way, like, I still think Karma's gonna show up because it says Twisted Karma and His Last Bow. So they refer to Karma as a name. So it makes me think that, like, there is gonna be a Von Karma in here, but I don't know. I can't say that for sure. Anyways, we're gonna be wrapping it up there as far as Greatest Attorney for the night. And we're gonna be switching to Satisfactory. I almost called it the Great Satisfactory Chronicles. Because my voice is killing me. There were a lot of rough voices in that. So yeah, YouTube, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.